All right, Jimmy Garoppolo, the saga, at least the 49ers chapter of it has ended. He's headed to Vegas. Vegas Jimmy. The Raiders, that list of 49ers to Raiders players, that is an illustrious list. 91 players long now. 91 players who've been with both the Raiders and the 49ers. Garoppolo hasn't suited up yet, obviously, for the Raiders, but he will in this 2023 season. He was a free agent. He's agreed to terms with Las Vegas, 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 million guaranteed for Jimmy Garoppolo. And then we could talk about that 49ers Raiders player connection. Here you go. Take a look at this list right here. It is a good one. Hopefully you can read that, because the very bottom of that list, you have Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, Josh Dubow outed some names that I didn't have in there, but we start with Jerry Rice, Jim Plunkett, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig, Rod Woodson, Charlie Gardner, Alden Smith, Randy Moss, Tom Rathman, Bill Romanowski. Now Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be wearing the silver and black. Dubow adds Navarro Bowman, John Kondo, Quaim Harris, Nnamdi Asomugha, Solomon Thomas, Reggie McKenzie, Ray Armstrong, Lewis Murphy, Ashley Lilly. There are a lot, and now Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be part of that. Now the contract, this is interesting for the 49ers perspective. $22.5 million per year, 3 years, $67.5 million. Although we'll see what the full and injury guarantees are. They're saying $45 million guaranteed. That's from Jeff Howe and The Athletic, our company. If $45 million guaranteed is not insignificant, a chunk of change for a player who obviously had his tenure in San Francisco marred by injury issues, but I'm not sure if those are full or injury guarantees. Either way, I guess if they are injury guarantees, still not insignificant for Jimmy Garoppolo. How exactly his contract is structured is going to play into the compensatory formula, but the fact that he's over $20 million should line the 49ers up for a boost in the comp formula. Mike McGlinchey's departure to Denver for over $17 million per year should line the 49ers up for a boost in the compensatory formula. And then obviously they'll have a negative by signing Javon Hargrave to $21 million per year. That is something that I've already covered in depth in our other video, but there's more coming. I'm going to talk about why the 49ers signed Javon Hargrave in a lot of depth here a little bit later today. But that will cancel out. But we talk about comp picks coming back for letting Jimmy Garoppolo walk and letting Mike McGlinchey walk. Well, that should factor positively into the formula. Javon Hargrave signing should factor negatively into the formula. But Jimmy Garoppolo, 42-19 in his time with the 49ers. There was a lot of good stuff that happened. Helped spearhead a franchise turnaround for the 49ers. And I've got a big piece coming up on The Athletic later this afternoon, looking back at the 6 best moments of Jimmy Garoppolo's 49ers tenure. So we'll do another video at that point. We'll talk about that. We'll turn the page from Garoppolo to what's next. Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. Lance was his designated successor after the 2021 draft. Lance is going to be the first quarterback healthy under contract for the 49ers this offseason. Brock Purdy underwent surgery on Friday, so we'll have to buckle up and see what the 49ers are able to do based on health later this year. But Garoppolo is officially gone. As was expected, the 49ers knew that they were not going to be able to afford to pay Jimmy Garoppolo what he was going to make in free agency, and that was $67.5 million over 3 years. Would have been way out of the 49ers price range. They're trying to bring in Javon Hargrave, number 1 defense, getting even better. Now the question is, protect Brock Purdy, protect Trey Lance better than you protected Jimmy Garoppolo. Offensive line has gotten better for the 49ers, but still wasn't where it needed to be this past season. Not quite there yet. Mike McGlinchey's gone. They're going to, try Colton McKivitz at right tackle instead, and that center position is still going to be a big one. Oh boy, the Jimmy Garoppolo story is up. Let's get this up there. Big news. Oh, they got it up sooner than I thought they would. And that's really good timing because we are in the middle of this article. Man. Let's get this up there. Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. I'm going to have to erase this. I put up the name of the 49ers and the Raiders, and now I'm going to toss the 49ers Raiders co-players. Here's the article, Jimmy Garoppolo. The end of the 49ers Jimmy Garoppolo era, remembering the QB's top 6 moments. And it is time for me to tweet. We can talk about the top 6 moments here, but you should sign up for The Athletic and check this out. It was good. I was about to sign off. I'll stay on. We'll talk about Jimmy leaving the 49ers. Boom. 6 moments for 6 years. Now, I had a line at the end of this piece where I try to sum it up as well as possible. In fact, I might retweet this with this line at the end. Some 49ers fans loved it, others hated it. They all seem to argue about it, but in the end, they'll all certainly remember it. And the wins did roll in far more often than the losses, which is something that certainly couldn't be said about the 49ers in many years prior to December 2017. I'm going to take that, copy and paste it. We're going to tweet this one more time. It's a little too long. On the Jimmy Garoppolo era. Boom. Some 49ers fans loved it, others hated it. They all seem to argue about it, but in the end, they'll all certainly remember it. And the wins did roll in far more often than the losses. On the Jimmy Garoppolo era. Boom. It is out. Big piece. I actually wrote most of that last year, and Garoppolo ended up staying. Shocked us all. We didn't think he'd ever leave. After a little while, it seemed that he was just destined to be with the 49ers, but the relationship eventually ran its course this year, and the article is up. Whew, what a day. What a day. Trey Wingo says hearing Rodgers to the Jets is done. History about to repeat itself between New York and Green Bay. Time is indeed a flat circle. He's referring to the fact that Brett Favre went from Green Bay to New York at age, or no, first he went to the Vikings, right? What was the Brett Favre timeline? Trying to remember, but he was with the Jets at age 39. So in a way, time is a flat circle. So we'll see if Trey Wingo's right with that report. But first, we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders. There it is, the end of the 49ers Jimmy Garoppolo era. Let's put this up there. What was your favorite 49ers Jimmy Garoppolo memory? Got a Jake Brendel update coming for you soon. This is from Aaron Wilson, plugged in with Houston. Texans, Bears, Giants, Browns, Jets, and 49ers have all displayed interest in veteran center Jake Brendel, per league source. Competitive situation in the center market. We're going to take a look at that here in 1 second. Retweet that because that's big news. The 49ers, I really don't think they want to go instability at the center position now. They obviously weren't able to get Mike McGlinchey back. They expected that, but they've stocked up on the defensive line. Hargrave was a big signing, but you've got to make sure that offensive side keeps pace. So here we go. We got to find this. This is still a semi-work kind of situation for me. Jake Brendel's market seems to be surging, which is what you'd expect after the excellent year that he delivered for the 49ers. Will SF be able to afford to keep Brendel? This is a significant domino for whoever the next quarterback's going to be. I know we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo right now, but that's big news for whoever comes after that. Garoppolo needed a good center in front of him. Shanahan needs a good center for this scheme. Brendel did the job last year, and we'll see how that all ends up working out moving forward. Keeping a close eye on Jake Brendel. 3 years, $67.5 million for Garoppolo. We'll find out the compensatory formula and how that's all worked out next season. Good comment on my Jimmy Garoppolo piece. At the end of the day, Jimmy was part of the reason why the 49ers are where they are today. He helped change this organization for the better. I think that's a very fair summary. Go and send this piece to a friend. The top 6 Jimmy Garoppolo moments with the 49ers. Other news today, I'm going to get further into it. McGlinchey's over $17 million per year to Denver. Obviously, Garoppolo to the Raiders. 49ers re-signing Kevin Givens. And the big one, Javon Hargrave, the best defensive tackle on the market. I'm about to sit down and crank out a big piece there. But anyway, Garoppolo's top 5 moments with the 49ers. What was your favorite 49ers Jimmy Garoppolo memory? Drop it into the comment section and we will talk. There's a lot of good stuff in this piece. I mean, we go through it. The entrance against Seattle, the shocking special against Jacksonville. There's Christmas Eve against the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2017. Feels great, baby. Mayhem at the Superdome, the tightrope backs. And I ended with the tightrope backs. That's the 2021 was crazy. Playing hurt for the 49ers. He was a tough quarterback for the 49ers. Played through those injuries that ended up dogging him and ended up, ending his tenure with the 49ers. It was a health situation. Jimmy Garoppolo was the second highest rated quarterback as far as efficiency goes in the entire NFL on third down since he joined the 49ers in 2017. It was Mahomes, number 1, Garoppolo, number 2. I think Garoppolo was behind only Mahomes and Drew Brees since 2017 in overall efficiency. So within the context of Kyle Shanahan's system, he was really, really good. And now we're going to get to see him reunite with Josh McDaniels in New England. McDaniels obviously worked with Jimmy Garoppolo in Las Vegas. McDaniels obviously worked with Jimmy Garoppolo in New England prior to his 49ers tenure. Jimmy G versus Drew Brees. That was crazy. 2019. That's obviously part of the article up there on the screen. Make sure you check it out. I've copied and pasted this. Mike, can you put this into the description, please? I didn't expect this article to be out so soon. So I'm copying and pasting it into the chat section. Good time to subscribe to The Athletic. It's an epic piece, and we're covering free agency in depth today. Garoppolo was a good quarterback for the 49ers. It was a hell of a run for the 49ers. It has been over the past 6 years, especially where they came from. 2016, terrible. 2017, they were 1-10 and they finished 6-10, first team in NFL history to go 5-0 after starting 1-10. That was with Garoppolo starting those last 5 games. Tore his ACL in 18, came back in 19, helped lead them to the Super Bowl in 2019. Then he got hurt, a couple high ankle sprains in 2020, got hurt again in 2021, but, still was a huge part of the 49ers playoff run all the way to the NFC Championship game. They ran out of gas there with the injuries. 2022 saved the 49ers skins. They don't make it all the way to the NFC title game without Jimmy Garoppolo's contribution. This is a good one right here. People love to hate a pro player that has made it because they can't handle that they couldn't make it out of their own peewee team. That sounds about right. There's a lot of jealousy. A lot of jealousy here, but I think it just kind of shows what people are all about. Says a lot more about people's shortcomings than it does about the multi-million dollar professional athletes' shortcomings who they're trying to criticize. So you just kind of go from there. You keep it neutral, play it fair, and it was a good 6 years by any objective measure for Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. I would agree with this. Garoppolo, after the ACL injury, wasn't the same in terms of pocket mobility. Something Brock Purdy, pocket escape, really showcased this past year at a younger age, obviously. But Garoppolo did play some of his best football this past season for the 49ers in 2022. Fans can criticize, but you deserve to get called out for it if your criticism is off base. A lot of people just, a lot of people didn't and are incapable of putting the Jimmy Garoppolo era into a fair lens because they can't look at it from an unbiased perspective. They're too clouded with emotions, jealousy, whatever you want. It was weird with Jimmy Garoppolo. It was definitely like a little overboard considering how good his performance was when he was healthy. And then you look at a football player who gets hurt. Well, it happens in the sport. That's just part of the deal. Raiders are taking on that risk now. Another addition here is that every single 49ers quarterback under Kyle Shanahan has gotten hurt, except for like Brian Hoyer. So that's something to keep in mind. He wasn't playing behind a great offensive line. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't this year. It is tackle football indeed. Eric Gomes chips in. It's gonna be fascinating to watch Garoppolo with the McDaniels and the Raiders. He's gonna have Devontae Adams there. He's gonna have Darren Waller there. They've got some weapons in Las Vegas. And they play a style, the play action style that Shanahan played there. It was a offense whose weapons gave the 49ers some trouble, and now Jimmy Garoppolo can helm the Raiders. Probably not against the 49ers unless they meet in the Super Bowl next year. Garoppolo's a good quarterback, but he was expensive and he was getting hurt too much. The 49ers drafted who they wanted to be his replacement. Two times. They got Brock Purdy too. I think it's pretty simple what's going on here. He ran the 49ers system really well. He was a good quarterback, and he made a bunch of money right now from the Raiders because the Raiders are in a better cap situation than the 49ers. And the 49ers are trying to move on to a situation where they can keep the quarterback room cheap because they can no longer afford Jimmy Garoppolo. Aren't you happy that the 49ers signed Javon Hargrave today? I don't think that would be possible if they kept Jimmy Garoppolo. Exactly. Every Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback. The 49ers can no longer afford to keep him. Two things can be true at once. It's really not that hard to put your head around. You have to just use a little bit of logic, guys. A little bit of logic can go a long way in this situation. Roberto says that Garoppolo was awesome, but the injury just held him back, and that it might have been because of the O-line. He's getting paid, and he's going to another great franchise. Well, 49ers fans might disagree, but the Raiders are a historic, illustrious franchise. I talked about the list of players that have played for both the Raiders and the 49ers, and it is an impressive one. I'm going to go through it again right now. Jerry Rice, Jim Plunkett, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig, Rod Woodson, Charlie Garner, Alden Smith, Randy Moss, Tom Rathman, Bill Romanowski, Jimmy Garoppolo, Navarro Bowman, John Kondo, Quaim Harris, not great players anymore. Bowman, yes, but not Quaim Harris. Namdi Asamoah, Solomon Thomas, Reggie McKenzie, Ray Armstrong, Lewis Murphy, Ashley Lee. A lot of players have suited up for both the 49ers and the Raiders. All right, everybody go check out that article on Jimmy Garoppolo. It is up on the screen. We're going to talk a little bit more about Javon Hargrave here in a bit. So I have to go take a little bit of a rest, get some water, and then we're moving on to Hargrave talk in just a second. Garoppolo to the Raiders. Check it out. List your favorite Jimmy Garoppolo memory in the comment section. That piece will give you the best Jimmy Garoppolo memories of the past 6 years. 6 and 6. 6 memories for 6 years. Everybody take care.